Which of the following two candidates do you think would have a better chance of making it into Canada right now under the current immigration system? Let's take candidate number one. A 40-year-old, he's got a PhD from Harvard in engineering, he's got a master's from MIT also in engineering, and an undergraduate in engineering from Princeton. He has 10 years of experience working at NASA. That would be our first candidate. Now, candidate number two is a guy who's 21 years old. He's a high school dropout. He's got 4 years of work experience as a retail supervisor. In addition to that, he's got a job offer from a small souvenir shop in North Bay, Ontario. So in the last year, the Canadian immigration system, especially kind of within the skilled worker context, has changed quite a bit. In a sense, it's become a lot more democratized. And so how has the system changed? How has it become more democratized? Well, the thing to really understand is that the skilled worker system right now, skilled immigration worker system, has become a lot more kind of market driven, and the government has very much put the Canadian employer in the driver's seat. Under the old system, in order to really have a chance of qualifying and getting into Canada, you had to basically fit into a certain category and be lucky enough to kind of fall within the quota that was allotted to that particular category. So there were a number of kind of places available, and you had to fit into that. You had to be lucky enough to fit into that in order to get status and to successfully come to Canada. Whereas right now, the way things work is that we have what's called a express entry system, and basically, if you get a certain minimum number of points, then you enter into a pool. And when you're in that pool, you compete against other candidates, and those candidates that get the largest number of points basically qualify and get immigration status in Canada. And so one thing to really understand that we're trying to emphasize here is that the factor that is the most heavily weighted is the job offer factor. And basically, if you enter into that pool where you're competing against others, then the job offer is weighted as much as all other factors combined. And so kind of taking all of that back to the initial question that we posed at the outset, which of the first and second candidates would have a better chance of qualifying? Well, as you kind of probably realized at this point, it would be the second candidate, which is probably a bit surprising because of the fact that the first one had a lot more education and work experience and was older and that sort of thing. At this point in time, the way that the system is structured, it would very likely be the second candidate that would qualify. And so to sum up, I mean, the thing to really understand is that if you have a job offer, then it really does allow you to kind of jump the line. And even if you're kind of outshined by the other candidates in terms of things like education and work experience, then you could nevertheless compensate for those potential deficiencies by just having a job offer. So hopefully that has provided you with a bit of context about how the current kind of express entry system works. And if you'd like more info about getting a job in Canada or immigrating to Canada, then we encourage you to visit Uniivaa.com.